for the first time while asking others to open theirs.
If you have additional space in your home, if you have the capacity to take someone in from West Maui, please do.
I got about within 2 blocks of my house and everything was engulfed with flames.
You saw the fire?
Saw the fire.
Kessa Stoddard and her family lost their home in the fire, leaving everything behind in just 10 minutes.
Did you receive any kind of warning that the fire was coming into the town?
No warning. We are supposed to get, on your cell phone evacuation notices, alerts. We got nothing. Nothing. Not one alert. To evacuate.
So your only signal to get out was the explosion and the flames?
Yes, and the smoke and people leaving town.
Tonight, mounting questions over whether officials sounded the alarm fast enough or whether power outages prevented alerts from reaching people.
Was there a widespread alert?
No, there wasn't. It seemed sporadic. I'm going to have to say that the government could have done a little bit better. The local government could have done a little bit better.
Hawaii officials telling the Associated Press there are no emergency management records indicating Maui's warning sirens were activated Tuesday when the fires began. The fire chief asked about those alerts.
Our department is not responsible for that. The fire that day moved so quickly that from where it started in the brush to where it moved into the neighborhood, communications back to those who make those notifications were physically and nearly impossible.
In Lahaina, the once capital of Hawaii, which holds deep cultural and historical significance, the raging fires taking nearly everything. And we see it firsthand as we approach the harbor by boat.
This is the historic Lahaina Town Harbor. I've been here a number of times over the years. This is my first time seeing it after the fires, and it's unrecognizable. And it's difficult to get your bearings because there aren't many buildings left standing. People tell us that it all happened so fast. The flaming embers started raining down from the sky, igniting buildings all around them, and many had just seconds to flee, some even jumping into the harbor, into the ocean, to escape the flames.
Overnight, we spoke to emergency doctor Reza Dinesh, telling us he rushed into Lahaina with his mobile clinic and immediately began treating patients.
And all of a sudden, I started getting some text messages from paramedics and firefighters that I know that went in and out. And like, doc, there's bodies on the ground.
Kessa Stoddard learned several of her close friends lost their lives in the fires, telling us tonight this community is strong, but still in desperate need.
Right now, it's not about me right now. It's about the community and the people of Lahaina. And I'm just one of thousands of people with this story, one of thousands, and we need help.
The need is clear, and so too is the strength and spirit of the community there. Just incredible what that family had to endure. Now that authorities are allowing residents to return to their homes, what are you hearing from some of those families?
Lindsay, I've been communicating with a few families who do plan to go back today to that Lahaina neighborhood if they can get through. The governor said if they present ID at the checkpoint, they will be allowed to see what's left of their homes. And in fact, we did see a long line of cars of people already trying to get in. But it's not just Lahaina. We're here in the Kula neighborhood, and you can see behind me, this is just one of several homes burned to the ground. We can hear the water-dropping helicopters overhead, giving you a sense of the widespread devastation across the island. Lindsay.
Maui just unrecognizable, as you say, Whit. Thank you. Now to that other major headline this Friday night, the Attorney General elevating the U.S. Attorney investigating Hunter Biden to the status of special counsel. It's a stunning turn for the president's son, who just weeks ago believed he had a plea agreement to end the investigation and settle the charges. But now it appears he could be put on trial. ABC's Chief Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas.
Tonight, the president's son now under investigation by a special counsel and likely headed to trial. Hunter Biden still in the investigative crosshairs of federal prosecutors, still clearly in legal jeopardy.
I'm here today to announce the appointment of David Weiss as a special counsel.
It was a surprise announcement from Attorney General Merrick Garland elevating David Weiss, the Trump-appointed U.S. attorney who had already been investigating Hunter Biden for 5 years, to special counsel. due to what Garland called the extraordinary circumstances of the case.
This appointment confirms my commitment to provide Mr. Weiss all the resources he requests. It also reaffirms that Mr. Weiss has the authority he needs to conduct a thorough investigation and to continue to take the steps he deems appropriate independently.
And then another surprise, Weiss telling the court that the chances for a plea deal on the table just 2 weeks ago have all but disappeared. Weiss writing, the parties are at an impasse, and the government believes this case will not resolve short of a trial. No plea deal means Hunter Biden now likely facing prosecution on tax charges in Washington, D.C. and California, and a gun charge. But Hunter Biden's team saying that Weiss's designation as special counsel doesn't change our understanding of his authority, and they expect a fair resolution not infected by politics. While Hunter Biden's supporters suggest he's being unfairly targeted because he's the president's son, many on the right have criticized Weiss for being too lenient. Tonight, some Republicans saying naming a special counsel is the right move.
I think it's about time that we saw the appointment of a special counsel to get to the bottom of not only what Hunter Biden was doing, but what the Biden family was doing. The American people deserve answers, and I welcome the appointment.
Others skeptical.
Nobody in their right mind believes that making him a special counsel, Mr. Weiss, cleans up the mess that's been created.
Let's get right to Pierre Thomas at the Justice Department tonight. Pierre, this, of course, signals the investigation into Hunter Biden is far from over. Is there a possibility of more charges? What's next?
There absolutely could be more charges. Weiss and his team already indicated in court that separate and apart from that failed plea deal, that Hunter Biden's financial dealings are still being investigated, Lindsay.
Pierre, thank you. President Biden and the First Lady have said very little about Hunter's legal woes, except that they love and support him. ABC's chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce joins us now. Mary, any indication that this new turn of events might change that posture?
No, the president and the White House still are not commenting on this. They have long stressed the independence of this investigation, and the president doesn't want to say anything that could fuel claims that this has somehow been politicized. But this is certainly not what this White House was hoping for. Just a few weeks ago, they thought this was largely behind them. But now, tonight, instead, Hunter Biden's plea deal has fallen apart, and he could be facing a criminal indictment and a trial right in the middle of his father's re-election campaign. And it is clear that Biden's Republican rivals are not going to let this go. Lindsay.
Certainly not. Mary, thank you. Meantime, President Trump's lawyers were in court today where the judge overseeing the election interference case warned their client against making inflammatory statements, saying his words could backfire and pressure her to speed up the trial. Here's ABC's chief Washington correspondent, Jonathan Karl.
Judge overseeing the special counsel's election interference case issued a warning today to former President Trump. I will take whatever measures necessary to safeguard the integrity of these proceedings, Judge Tanya Chutkan said. This comes after Trump has been accused of trying to intimidate potential witnesses, including his former vice president, Mike Pence. In one social media post, Trump said, quote, "If you go after me, I'm coming after you." In court today, Judge Chutkan told Trump's lawyers, quote, "To the extent your client wants to make statements on the internet, they have to always yield to witness security and witness safety." When Trump's team said it is all about his right to free speech, the judge replied, "Mr. Trump, like any American, has a right to free speech, but that right is not absolute." Trump has signaled he would not abide by any limits on what he can say about this case.
I will talk about it. I will. They're not taking away my First Amendment right.
Trump can talk about the case all he wants. At issue today, however, was whether there should be a so-called protective order to keep him from publicly revealing sensitive and confidential information, including secret grand jury transcripts that the special counsel is required to share with him. The judge ruled that Trump would have the same restrictions on revealing confidential information as anyone else. He's a criminal defendant, she said. He's going to have restrictions like every single other defendant. The special counsel in this case has requested that the trial begin on January 2nd. That would be just 2 weeks before the Iowa caucuses. Trump's lawyers say that's simply too quick and it would interfere with his presidential campaign. The judge has not made a decision, has not set a court date yet, but she made it very clear today that she wants a quick trial and that her decision will not be driven by the political calendar. Lindsay?
The timing of all of this will certainly be complex. John, thank you. Here in New York City, FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried is behind bars tonight after prosecutors accused him of trying to influence witnesses.